Have you ever wanted to try something new? You felt excited. You had a great idea. But then fear stopped you. You thought, what if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I'm not good enough? If fear has ever stopped you from taking action, then this story is for you. It may change how you see failure forever. Once upon a time, in a quiet town near the mountains, there lived a young man named Rashid. Rashid was 28 years old. He was smart, creative, and full of talent. He loved to write. Every night, he imagined himself as a famous author. He dreamed of publishing his own book. He pictured people reading his stories and saying, "Rashid, you are brilliant!" But Rashid never wrote, not even one page. His notebook sat on his desk, gathering dust. His pen remained untouched. Blank papers waited for words that never came. Why? Because Rashid was afraid. He was terrified of failure. He thought, what if I write something and it's terrible? What if people say I have no talent? What if I waste my time and discover I'm not a writer after all? So he did nothing. He kept his dream locked inside his heart, where it was safe from judgment and failure. Years passed this way. Rashid watched other people follow their dreams. He saw friends start businesses. He read about writers his age winning awards. Deep inside, he felt pain, but still, fear controlled him. One cold winter evening, Rashid's grandfather came to visit. The old man sat by the fireplace, drinking tea. He noticed the dusty notebook on the desk. "Rashid, my son," he said gently, "why don't you write anymore? You used to love it when you were young." Rashid looked down. "Grandfather, I want to write, but I'm afraid. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough?" The grandfather smiled. He reached into his bag and pulled out an old folder. Inside were dozens of torn, wrinkled papers. Stories, poems, and essays. Some were beautiful. Others were messy and incomplete. "Do you know what these are?" the grandfather asked. Rashid shook his head. "These are my failures," the old man said. "When I was your age, I wanted to be a writer too. I wrote every day. Most of my work was terrible. Publishers rejected me. Critics said I had no future. I failed again and again and again." Rashid was confused. "But grandfather, you never told me this. I thought you were always just a shopkeeper." The grandfather nodded. "Yes, I became a shopkeeper. But before that, I failed as a writer for 10 years. And you know what I learned? Failure is not the end. It is the beginning. Every great writer, every successful person, they all failed first, many times." He held up one of the torn papers. "This story is poorly written, but it taught me about character development. This one has a weak ending, but it taught me about plot structure. Every failure was a lesson. Without these failures, I would never have learned anything." Then he looked deeply into Rashid's eyes. "My son, you are not afraid of failure. You are afraid of trying. There is a difference. Failure happens when you act, but you are choosing to fail before you even start." Those words hit Rashid like lightning. He realized his grandfather was right. By doing nothing, he had already failed. He had failed his dreams. He had failed himself. The grandfather told him a story. "Long ago, there was a young bird in a nest high on a cliff. The father bird told his children, 'It is time to fly.' All the young birds were afraid, but one by one they jumped. Some fell at first. They flapped their wings awkwardly. They crashed into branches. but slowly they learned to fly. Only one bird refused to jump. He stayed in the nest. He said, "I will wait until I know I won't fall." Days became weeks. Weeks became months. The bird grew older, but he never flew. He died in that nest, still afraid, still waiting for the perfect moment. Rashid, my son, the bird who never jumped, never failed. But he also never flew. He never felt the wind. He never saw the world. His fear kept him safe, but it also kept him small. Tears filled Rashid's eyes. He understood now. Fear of failure had kept him trapped. He had been living in a cage he built himself. That night, Rashid could not sleep. He thought about all the years he had wasted. He thought about all the stories he never created, all the joy he never felt, all because of fear. He whispered to himself, "If I don't try now, I will regret this forever." The next morning, Rashid woke up early. His hands were shaking, but he walked to the dusty notebook. He picked up his pen. He opened to the first blank page, and for the first time in years, he wrote. The first story was terrible. The dialogue was awkward. The plot made no sense. It looked like a beginner's work. But Rashid didn't stop. He wrote again the next day, and the day after that. Some stories were failures. He threw them away. But slowly something changed. With each failure, he learned. His words grew stronger. His imagination grew sharper. His confidence grew deeper. After 1 year, Rashid created his first good story. After 2 years, he had enough work to show publishers. After 3 years, his first book was published. Not everyone loved his writing. Some people criticized him. Some said his work was average. But Rashid didn't care anymore, because now he knew the truth. Failure is not the enemy. Fear is. He had failed many times, but each failure brought him closer to success. And more importantly, he was finally free. Free to try, free to create, free to live. Dear listener, Rashid's story is your story too. We all carry fear inside us. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. But here is the truth that will set you free. Failure is not permanent. It is temporary. It is not a destination. It is part of the journey. Every successful person you admire has failed more times than you can count. They just didn't let fear stop them from trying. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before he invented the light bulb. Someone asked him, "How did it feel to fail so many times?" He said, "I did not fail. I just found 1,000 ways that did not work." Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players ever, said, "I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. 26 times I was trusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed. I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." You see, failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. So if you are afraid of failure, remember Rashid's notebook. Remember the bird in the nest. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait until you are ready. You will never feel completely ready. Start now. Start messy. Start scared. Just start. Because the only real failure is never trying at all. The longer you wait, the more dreams you lose, the more regret you carry. Life is too short to spend it being afraid. So take the first step today. Write your first page. Paint your first picture. Start your first business. Make that phone call. Take that risk. You might fail, yes, but you might also succeed. And even if you fail, you will learn, you will grow, you will become stronger. And one day, you will look back and thank yourself for being brave enough to try. If you found this story meaningful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Inspire Every Day, and share it with someone who needs courage to take the first step. Together, we can overcome our fears and live the life we were meant to live. Remember, you are braver than you think. Your dreams are waiting. Don't let fear steal them.